we are going to do some mathematical operations right now, and we are going to discover that Bash has pretty serious limitations when it comes to everything math related. So Bash is definitely not your ideal tool for doing math related things, and you can use some other tool that you can call from Bash, and Bash, for example, can process your inputs and give it to some other tool and then display the output of this tool to you. But if you want to stay only inside Bash, I think that the things, anything math related, even simple division, and anything that has to do with, for example, floating points, is not really possible. We will see what's possible, what's not possible, and what's the standard way of dealing with it. So let us maybe read the description of the problem that we have for today. And the title is The World of Numbers, and they are giving us two integers, x and y. And we want to find their sum, difference, what's the product, and quotient. Exactly. I forget the product, how it's called. Yes, those are pretty much the basic arithmetic operations, and we will see how can Bash deal with them. The input format, we are expecting two lines, each containing a single integer, so this time no text numbers, but on two different lines. We could also imagine that they would give us those two numbers on a single line separated by a space, but that would be a little bit more difficult to process. It's still possible, of course, to do it in Bash, but it would require us to do some more processing, and that's because of this, I suppose they are giving them on the separate lines. And there are also constraints, like the numbers are between -100 and 100, reasonable, and y should not be equal to 0. Y can't be 0. That's probably because we want to divide x by y, and for 0, the result is undefined. We can do division, so that's why they are giving us this constraint. Okay. And the output should be displayed on 4 lines, so 4 echoes probably, first for the result of the addition, and the second for the result of subtraction, and so on. And let us take a look at the example. Our example is, oh my god, why is it jumping so terribly? Okay, I figured it out. We have 5 and 2 as input, and the sum is, of course, 7. 5 plus 2 is 7. 5 minus 2 is 3. 5 times 2 is 10. And 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. But we are expected to give 2 because that's the only thing we can do directly inside Bash. Even here they mention it that when computing the quotient, we should only print the integer part. And we will see why it is so. Let us now go to the terminal. So let's first play with mathematical operations directly in the terminal, not inside an external script, because I want to see the outputs immediately. Usually I prefer this script way because I want things to be organized, to put everything I want to use inside a single place and display it from another place. But this time I want to show you a couple of things. So let's start with echo. We know that we can use many different, there are different ways of using echo. For example, with double quotes, if you want to use some special characters like $ for variables. And this time we want to do a mathematical operation. If we do it like this, we see that it is not immediately interpreted correctly. Plus is simply a character right now, and it's displaying 3 plus 3 instead of the result of this operation. And there is a special syntax that we have to use. if you want Bash to do some calculations for us, and this syntax goes as follows. We use $sign again, and this time with 2 parentheses, not 1, but 2 parentheses. And that's because single parentheses are reserved already for something else. What it is, we will talk maybe in this video or another video in detail. But for now, if you want to do calculations inside Bash, that's the standard way to do it. $, 2 parentheses, and now 3 plus 3. We are closing everything, parentheses, and now double quote, and we got 6. We can, of course, use variables here, but maybe another unexpected thing is that if you already have $a here for double parentheses, we can use lowercase a without $a here, and it will be treated still as a variable, not as a text a. So if I do this, I should get 8, and I'm getting 8. Ooh, that's pretty complicated, you might think, and unexpected. And I would agree. That's exactly what I think. I don't know what you think, but that's the way it is done in Bash. So maybe let's open our script and put now everything here. Let's declare 2 variables, a and b, 5 and 2, like in our example. And if you want to display things right now, we know how to do our calculations. We do it simply like this. Double parentheses, a minus b, closing, echo again, lots of typing, a times b, and echo again, a divided by b. Now we can close it and execute. Perfect. That's the thing that they wanted, 7, 3, 10, and 2. But what if I wanted to do floats? What if I wanted to get 2.5 when I divide 5 by 2? You can't do it directly in Bash, at least I don't know how, and I think that there is no such way. But you can use external tools, like for example BC. BC is a tool used for calculations. Maybe it's abbreviation from basic calculation. I've never checked it, but that's what I told right now. And it's pretty old program from 1981, so even older than me. And it works in the following way. You can type here 3 plus 7, and it's displaying directly the result of the calculation that you requested. And if you want 2 divided by 5, not this one, I wanted 5 divided by 2, it's still getting this 2 instead of 2.5, but you can specify the scale. For example, I want scale to be equal to 2, and then semicolon, and what will happen now if I specify scale to 2 and divide 5 by 2, I'm getting 2.5, 2.50. Perfect. So that's the way you can do it. If you want to do some division, some floating point division inside Bash, you have to use an external tool. This tool you can call from Bash, and now we will maybe discuss how to call external programs inside Bash. That's really interesting. So till now we were using echo to display the output of our Bash program to the screen, and that's the standard output. So that's the way it was designed to work. If you use echo, you type some text there, it's displayed to the screen. But there is a way to capture an output from one script or from one program and provide it as an input to another script or another program. And the thing that allows it is called pipe. And I will show you how to use it, but it's basically used for this redirections. So pretty powerful stuff, new concept that we are learning right now. We already use input, output, variable, and now pipe. Okay, so if I use echo and do 3 plus 3, that's the way we know it. It simply displays 3 plus 3, but now pipe, we are using this symbol for pipe, this line, vertical line, and what it will do, and the thing that we already discussed, captures the stuff that we are outputting, and instead of showing them to us, it's moving them somewhere else as an input to the thing that we want, this time BC. So 3 plus 3, great. We are piping 3 plus 3 to BC, and BC gives us the correct result. So if you want to now make this complicated script, let's do it. Maybe one more thing, let's quit. Or maybe we can already do it in the script. Sorry, I wanted to show you too many things at one time. I think it's already enough. Let's do it with variables. So we want to do echo, and here we have to remove the double parentheses. Now we are using BC for our calculations, so we can remove the double parentheses everywhere. Just and if we remove the double parentheses, then we have to do $signs with our variable names if we want to use variables. And now everywhere pipe BC, pipe BC, pipe BC, and pipe BC. And here we can put our scale equal to 2, semicolon, and see how it works. Script, perfect. Now it has 7, 3, 10, and 2.5. Perfect. That's the standard way how you can use BC. It's not installed by default on every Linux system, so if it doesn't work on your system, you have to probably install it, but it's free software and it shouldn't be any problem. For example, on Debian-based systems, you just type sudo apt, or maybe just apt install BC, depending on where you want to install it. Okay, so let's close this part and go here. I haven't tested it here if they have BC installed, and they didn't want to use floating point, so we can use this way with double parentheses, x plus y, echo, double quotes, x minus y, and yes, echo, double quotes, x times y. Lots of typing. X divided by y this time. Let's run this code. I'm really excited. Do you think that everything will be green as always? Perfect. We are so perfect. Let's submit the code, and everything works as expected. So that's how you can do arithmetic operations in Bash.